A perfectly imperfect test to round out what has been one of the best test series of all time. Somehow the best match was held for the end. If you ever want proof as to why test cricket is the best and most purest form of cricket there is, look no further than this series, and in particular, this match. Fasten your seatbelts, because this is gonna be one hell of a ride. England won the toss again. They bowled again. Mad that they won all 5 tosses and that India has now lost 16 in a row. So England had their fair share of changes. Given the short 3-day break between test matches, in came Jacob Buttel, Gus Atkinson, Jamie Overton, and Josh Tongue. Out went the injured skipper himself, Ben Stokes, Jofra Archer, Ryan Hurst, and Liam Dawson. India were also forced with some changes themselves. The doors reopened for Karun Nair, Dhruv Jurel, Akashdeep, and Prasidh Krishna. Rishabh Pant was not injured. Jasprit Bumrah needed to manage his workload, and Shahid Thakur and Ashok Kamboj were both also kept aside. So as the first day started, it was clear right there that there would be significantly more movement in this game than any of the prior pitches. England pacer Gus Atkinson had a memorable debut season 2024, but his fitness meant that he had to wait till the fifth test to finally get a return to the lineup, and straight away the venom was visible. He got Jaiswal out early doors. With his economy of 1.52 for his 5-4, he troubled the Indian batters throughout. Rahul grinded but still barely got runs. Shubman Gill had one of the most inexplicable runouts you'll see in a long time. A proper brain fade, and a true shame considering how fluid with the bat he was looking. Side solution dug in, yet could not convert again, and never truly said so. Josh Tongue got his wicket, as well as Jadeja's with absolute beauties. Then it was Karun Nair who finally made use of his chance and notched up a 50 under tough conditions. Amidst all of it though, Chris Woakes got his shoulder injured and left the English with a bowler short. On the morning of day 2, Karun Nair went out early. Washington tried to hit his way out due to the pressure of the tail, and the entire innings collapsed to 234 all out. What followed was an absolute masterclass by the English opening duo. In tough, swinging conditions, they took the attack to the Indian pacers. Ben Duckett went to the unorthodox for answers. On the flip side, you had Zach Crawley absolutely creaming drives. That made my granddad invoke Gavaskar himself. All of a sudden, on a greenish pitch, England got to 50 in 7 overs, and then 100 in 89 balls. Baseball was restored to its original glory once again. But then it all went away, and after lunch the Indians launched a strong reply. The Pacers tightened their lines and got regular wickets. In no time, most of the side found their way back to the dugout, and it was just Harrybrook fighting with the tail to get to 50 and securing an English lead of 23. In the last session, it would now be Rahul and Sai Sudarshan who would fall early, while Jaiswal blitzed to his way to a 50 at better than run ball. At the close of play, he would find himself walking off with number 4 and night watchman Akashdeep. Now, if you thought Shubman Gill at number 4 was good this season, this was almost better. On a pitch that was not exactly the best, Akashdeep smashed his way all the way to a 50. Honestly, just pure vibes and insanely crucial runs. On the other end, Jaiswal rode his luck and continued on his way to a century. A worrying passage of play for India took place when Atkinson got Shubman and Karun Nair for low scores. After a historically great series, the Indian captain would go on to have a disappointing final test. Enter Jadeja, doing what he's been doing all series, giving stability. He got 50 alongside a decent cameo with Dhruv Jurel, but at 357 for 9, India found themselves in a familiar position. A bunch of wickets falling at once, and Sundar stranded with the tail. But this time Washi learned his lesson. He launched the stakes early. Yun pulled 2 more max and maximums and got to his 50 with the best 6 of the lot. The ball legit got damaged by the brute force. Rather promisingly, he managed a 38-run partnership with Prasidh Krishna and kept all the strike. At almost 400, the momentum was back with India. Credit to the English bowlers too, by the way. 3 paces essentially managing the entire innings was crazy, and they even had to face the buttery fingers of the English fielders. Deservedly so, Josh Dunn got a 5-wicket haul for all his efforts. The last period before sumps was going to be very crucial. The English openers once again resumed service and got to a 50 partnership, until Siraj beauty grabbed Crawley and signaled stumps. It felt like too much for a full innings chase, but this is a bad bowling side after all. They have done this before, and Joe Root and Harrybrook stitched together a partnership that looked unbreakable. At least if you take aside the time Siraj caught Harrybrook but stepped on boundary cushion. That moment right there probably would have changed the game. Harrybrook took the offensive route with a 92 ball 100, while Root secured his 39th test ton himself. Yet after both batters got to their centuries, a late taken win came to the Indian bowlers, and every ball carried with it a dose of venom. At the early light effective close of play, England were 36 short, but only had 3 wickets and a 1-run Chris Woakes to spare. So this series did make sure we got all 25 days of action. And then, on the final day, well, the day started right from where I left off. Siraj and Krishna just beating the bulk and crucially getting the early wicket of both Jamies, Smith and Overton. Somehow, the Indian side had grabbed victory from jaws of defeat. Or did they? 20 runs to go, and Prasidh even castled Josh Tung's stumps. Enter a one-armed Chris Woakes, about to bat on the wrong side with his left arm strapped into his sweater. With 70 needed, Gus Atkinson hoiks one towards long-on /mid wicket. Akashdeep, who had come in a bit, backtracks and tries to grab it, but only palms it over for a 6. Suddenly a bye, and a couple later, Gus Atkinson is on strike against the workhorse Mohammad Siraj with 6 to tie. One bad ball, one good hit, and there the series would be sealed with the English. In that moment, Mohammad Siraj, having bowled a billion overs and remaining as the only bowler to last 5 matches, fittingly bowls an off-stump yorker, gets his fifer, and bam, India tied the series 2-all. What a series it has been. A revolutionary bowling side on one end versus a young Indian side fighting without Ashwin, Virat, Rohit, and even Bumrah for 2 out of 5 games. Amazing series for so many players. Who would have thought Gill, as new captain, would have reacted that way to all the pressure? Ben Stokes being a monster, Jarud breaking more records, K. Rahul, Jadeja, Washington, Harry Brook, Jamie Smith, Jaiswal, Pun, Akash Deep, Gus Atkinson, Josh Tongue all were fantastic. Wilkes with one arm and Punt with one leg, and Siraj at the end, putting in a monster performance after being worked for so many damn overs. 2-2's a fair reflection. A legendary series by all means, and I am excited to see where these teams will go in the future. I hope you enjoyed our coverage of this series. Just like the series, we will be covering a lot more cricket and a lot more of sports in general. If you want more similar content, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Check out our other videos, including our recaps of previous matches. And as always, thanks for watching. We will see you next time.